matters? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
The fist is sore from trading punches with Joe Biggs. You think I'm 14 years old again last night? You want to know how good Brain Force is? I didn't mean to do a plug right now. I wanted one because I'm a little bit tired. I haven't taken one today. I forgot this morning. I had a Brain Force sitting here. There's like 10 pills left in it. And some little mouse around here is eating my Brain Force. So I just had to go get another bottle during that break and open it up. And then it was painful opening. That's why I made the fist comment. It wasn't punching Biggs that made my fist hurt, though. It was punching that steel door. But I still got it. I put a little dent in it. That was a little parlor trick in high school. Punched the school doors and dent them. Girls got impressed by that. And the next guy would try it, break his hand. Of course, the big secret is you got to have your hand basically broken pretty much all the time, and then it doesn't hurt so bad. Just like a spongy smash knuckle. I'm joking. That didn't happen. I'm trying to act tough to impress everybody, folks. Anyways, getting back to what I was covering earlier on the whole DARPA situation. Secret is not minding the pain. Pain almost reminds you you're alive. It's weird. You have pain long enough, it just becomes part of you. It's weird. Anyway, side issue. Peter Schiff's coming up. Let me put this addendum. In fact, when we put this on YouTube or Facebook, let's cut that last minute and a half rant that made no sense, because I'm literally just babbling. The addendum to that whole DARPA interview is that if I just sit here and attack DARPA, it's not going to be effective reaching out to people at the Pentagon and these big corporations and companies. Obviously, I want life extension technologies. Obviously, I want my kids to have access to it. Obviously, I want humans to progress. A lot of what DARPA does is super sexy. The problem is they are eugenicists, they are transhumanists that set it up. It's not being evenly distributed. It's our money, our tax money that's paying for this, and it's being given to globalist corporations that build their factories in communist China and India. And it doesn't even help those people. They're so greedy. They sold globalism that we're going to build factories in the third world and make them paradises and build them up. I would go for that. You guys don't do that. It'd be one thing if you had a 600-foot yacht, you know, the size of an aircraft carrier or whatever, and then you actually did that off, say, book sales or something, or a widget. But you do it through government contracts you've robbed, then you are so greedy, you don't have a 200-foot yacht, you got a 600-foot yacht from stolen money, and you won't even build it here when we paid for it, you jerks? I mean, what's your problem? You got bad will towards people, and so you're not fit to direct anything. And you sat there and you got all the smartest kids out of high school and college since the 50s, and you built this thing, and you didn't build it. You were smart enough to swindle it with a bunch of good-willed people, but you didn't build it, and it's not yours, and you're not giving it to the people, and you're disgusting. Instead, you give us mercury in shots. You give us cancer viruses. Oh, thank you. You're so nice. What great gods you are. You claim you're becoming gods. You don't act like any god I ever heard of that was any good. You act like punks. You act like pieces of trash. You act like psychopaths. My God's not somebody that grabs kids out of backyards and tortures them. That's not my God. I know you got a brand new God, and you're really cool and everything. What you got is a bunch of smart people you hijacked who are waking up to you right now, and you hope the fluoride's going to dumb us down. It doesn't work, buddy. It doesn't work on some people. You know that. And so they want to make all the drones autonomous to get the military and the Pentagon out of the equation and to give the technocrats military control. That's their big dream. That's why the military is fighting the Pentagon Advanced Research Science Boards that are saying just make everything autonomous. And the way you kill it is you bring up stuff like, oh, look at the Trojans inside the cell phones. Look at the Trojans inside the emissions testing of VW, stuff like that. Obviously, you don't say, because you can't sell that to the public. They're too naive right now. I mean, I'll do that. You can't say, oh, a foreign government will hack it or it'll take control. The AI will. That's inevitable if you keep down this road. So are you guys smart enough to not go the Atlantean route? Because you're about to be there. We're not trying to be alarmist. I am alarmed, though, so I'm not going to lie to you. It is what it is. Russia has completely upstaged the United States and made our criminal government look like absolute fools, which I don't even particularly like because it's our country, not the globalists, that they're using and running in the ground. A lot of people are all happy that the Russians are going in and killing Al-Qaeda and blowing up al-Nusra and going after IS. And yes, I'm happy about that, but this is part of a larger globalist operation in the final equation that discredits this country. Because we could take this country back any time and turn the prosperity engine on, cut the taxes, cut the spending, make all the welfare folks start working, stop paying for the anchor babies, and this country would go to 10% growth rates in a few years. Historically, I mean, we did till we got the Federal Reserve. We did till the Great Depression. The first 150 years of this country was like heaven. I mean, it was foreign Russian and Japanese and French historians came over here and were just like, this is awesome. We had most of the inventions. We had most of the discoveries. We were the trailblazers. We had the best boxers. We had the best horsemen. If you got in a war with us, we'd kick your butt. We beat the British Empire. Nobody could beat them. You're just more British than the British. And now, look at us, serving Al-Qaeda. Reuters yesterday, I read that article 3-4 times an hour on air, Reuters. In fact, can you guys dig in the stack and find it? It was one about Russia begins airstrikes, and it said the Pentagon and the UN and you know, blah, blah, blah. And right there in the article, it talked about the president and the Defense Department criticizing Russia for not bombing ISIS, but bombing Al-Qaeda bases that are, quote, the Pentagon sees as moderate. I mean, this is how disconnected our elite are. That they will put in Reuters and the Associated Press and the New York Times, they all reported it yesterday. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. That you shouldn't bomb the moderates, and then it said Al-Qaeda. I don't know if our elite are I mean, maybe Peter Schiff's right. It's not a conspiracy. Maybe they were just living off our smart ancestors, and this elite is completely inept, and that's even scarier. I don't know how they get away with giving trillions of dollars to select banks that taxpayers got to pay for. I don't know how they get away with fixing the interest rates and fixing the currency rates. I don't know how they've held it up this long, but the truth is they didn't hold it up this long. As Peter Schiff said, the job numbers are fake, but even the fake numbers are hellish. 94,610,000 Americans not in labor force, participation rate lowest since 1977. Record 56+ million women not working. Yeah, like black unemployment's doubled. I mean, where's the liberal empowerment? Jobs up only for immigrants. That's because immigrants, you got to give it to them, are smart enough to get on welfare and get a job. Because you sure can't live on those paychecks. But remember, the Fed said they're never going to raise the rates. And that's what they've just come out and said that. Peter Schiff said they never can. He's pretty much the only guy saying they never will. And then they said a month ago, oh, we're not going to raise it, but we are going to raise it down the road. Peter Schiff joins us because we have people on that are accurate, people that are right, people that actually want to tell the truth. But I always thought mainstream media just wanted to lie. I guess Peter would say they're stupid. Maybe Peter's right. I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy around. But I make pretty good decisions in my life. And I think I've got a blind spot that I think other people are smart like I am. And maybe I need to get smarter and realize that no, a lot of people are super stupid. But regardless, I don't care if the government's got a mass of people that will go along with, say, turning our guns in or opening our borders up and paying for everything for free. I have a right to not be a slave and pay for all this, and that's what the Bill of Rights states. Doesn't matter you get 51%. Selling horse manure and saying it's chocolate cake. I don't have to eat it. And I hate to use a gross analogy, but that, if it fits, you got to use it. Peter, I'm ranting here. I'm not happy that you've been proven right. I'm not happy we've been proven right because I realize the public has no idea on average what's going on. Not our audience. A lot of them are smarter than I am. I just have this intellectual view, but also this feeling that I'm like in an insane asylum or something. I mean, how crazy is this going to get?
Well, I think a lot more data is going to come out before the general public can accept that I'm right, or maybe not the general public, the so-called experts on the economy, the very experts that basically said that there was about a 90% chance the Fed was going to raise rates by December. Now, I was saying that the chance was closer to zero. Now that we got today's horrible jobs report, and I'm going to talk about that, but now those experts are changing their forecasts, and now they're saying, well, now that we got this new information, maybe the Fed is going to wait until March. Look, I didn't need to see this job data to know the Fed wasn't going to raise rates, because they will prick their own bubble. But let's look at how bad this jobs report was, because it was really, really bad, right? They were expecting 203,000 jobs. We only got 142,000, right? That's way less than even the lowest end of the estimate.
And that's them pumping with giant fire hoses $1,000 bills.
Yeah, but they went back and they revised last month, which was originally reported at 173. Everybody was expecting that to be revised up to above 200. I remember on CNBC, Mark Zandi, chief economist, Moody's.com, when that 173 number came out, he said, ignore it. It means nothing. They're going to revise it up. It's well over 200,000. We're going to get another 200,000 next month. Everything is great. They revised that number down all the way to 136,000. So that's 70,000 less.
And isn't that cooked numbers anyways, too?
Well, who knows if they're cooked, but they're still lousy, even if they're cooked. And then they went back to the month before that, and they revised that down too. So they revised down 2 months. This month was lousy. Then look at, you alluded to labor force participation, dropped to 62.4. That's a new low for this cycle. You got to go back to the 1970s to get a participation rate that low. But, that doesn't tell the real story, because as you remember, back in the early 1970s, most married women didn't work because they didn't have to, because their husbands could afford to support them. But today you have all these women working because men can't afford to support themselves, let alone their wives.
Isn't it wonderful?
But if you look at male labor force participation, it has never been this low in the history of the Republic. There have never been such a small percentage of men who have jobs than now. Look at the wages. They were expecting real wages to go up 0.2. They were flat, and that doesn't adjust for inflation. And average work week went down. This was a horrible report. And of course, if you look at the jobs by, category, we lost manufacturing jobs. We lost mining and logging jobs. We lost wholesale trade jobs. These are the good paying jobs. What jobs did we create? Government jobs, waiters, bartenders, people that ring cash registers, orderlies in hospitals. We created low-paying minimum wage jobs, and we destroyed the good jobs that you can support a family on. That's what's going on.
Now, as I introed it, is it on purpose or is it just ineptitude? I mean, they got a lot of professors, Cloward and Piven, saying they want to make everybody dependent.
Look, they're not smart enough to do this on purpose. If the government was trying to wreck the economy, it'd be booming. I mean, the fact of the matter is, these politicians just want to get elected. Wall Street is concerned about stimulating stock prices. They don't care.
So they're just giving us happy pills and we're drug addicts.
Yeah, I mean, even Carl Icahn came out with this video recently, Danger Ahead. When you got mainstream billionaires starting to figure it out, right? It's getting near the end of the game, except, he thought that the Fed had been giving the economy medicine, and he was worried what was going to happen when the medicine went away, the 0% rates. He's got the metaphor wrong. It's not medicine, because medicine implies that it's helping. It's monetary heroin. It's a steroid, or it's a painkiller. Whatever the Fed's been giving us has been making the economy sicker, but numbing us to the pain. But he did have an image, a photograph, and I've used this analogy myself too, of everybody partying on a bus, and then Janet Yellen pushing the bus, and you can see in the picture that the bus is going to go over the edge of a cliff. But no one cares because they're having so much fun.